Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Before we start our meeting, I'd like to make an announcement. The Spectrum digital channel is currently not available due to technical issues, but we are streaming the meeting live on YouTube, San Felipe Del Rio YouTube, and also on Facebook. Again, we are having some technical difficulties with Spectrum, so we are not able to air it on Spectrum channel. It is time to call this meeting to order. Again, this is a meeting of the San Felipe Del Rio CISD Board of Trustees. Today, we have a public hearing / regular school board meeting. Today being Monday, February 23rd, 2026. Mr. Secretary, would you call roll for us?
Yes, sir. Mrs. Luna Chavez,
Present.
Mr. Almaraz, Mr. Overfelt,
Present.
Mr. Mesa,
Here.
Mrs. Webb,
Present.
Mrs. Haynes.
Here.
Sir, I am present. Sir, you do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Let the record show that we do have a quorum of board members and that this meeting was duly called in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. At this time, we will have opening ceremonies, first with a moment of silence for personal reflection. And we do have two former employees that have since passed since our last meeting. Raquel Gonzalez Hernandez, teacher at Garfield for a long time, and Mr. Paulo Ramos, who was a teacher administrator that a lot of us work with. So if we could please stand and have a moment of silence for them. We'll follow with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Again, welcome each and every one of you. First item that we have on our agenda is recognitions. Item 4A, Del Rio High School Symphonic Orchestra. We have Vanessa Martinez.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. The Fine Arts Department is proud to highlight the outstanding work of our high school orchestra. Under the leadership of Mr. Timothy Garza, the program continues to grow in both enrollment and performance quality. We are pleased to share that the orchestra was selected to perform in San Antonio this May in collaboration with the Youth Orchestra of San Antonio, other called YOSA. This is a testament to the dedication of our students and the strength of the program. Additionally, 2 students recently advanced to the state level in solo and ensemble, earning the highest individual distinction in the competition. This evening, they will perform Jupiter by the Planets by Gustav Holst, our high school orchestra. As our orchestra leaves the stage, I want to invite the Del Rio community to join us for our first annual Fine Arts Fest. This is going to be held on March 21st at the Bank and Trust Field from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., where we're going to be showcasing all of our talented fine arts students, including our orchestra band and everybody in between. So please join us and look out for flyers online.
Thank you so much. These students make us so proud. It seems like we want to go out and buy them a steak dinner or something, so we'll pass that on to the parents maybe. But great job to the instructors. And again, the competition is awesome when they compete with other groups and show that it is top quality instruction and students are really into it. And we really enjoy the recognitions. So thank you again, students. Thank you, parents, and thank you, instructors, for a fine job. This time we have item B, recognition, career and technical education, CTE month. We have Jessica Guanajuato.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. On behalf of CTE Department, we'd like to thank you all for the support you have shown the department, as well as the entire district. Every February, we celebrate CTE month. This month is dedicated to highlighting the incredible benefits of career and technical education. This year's theme of awareness, exposure, and exploration reinforces the steadfast commitment of helping students discover pathways, gain hands-on learning experiences, and explore post-secondary options. The CTE department includes 40 dedicated teachers across all secondary campuses, a supportive staff, and over 3,000 CTE students engaged in one or more career pathways spanning 13 national career clusters. CTE works to empower students to develop essential skills, unleash creativity, and ready themselves for both college and career success. CTE provides a platform for students to shine, offering specialty courses, industry-recognized certification, dual credit classes, and opportunities to compete at district, state, national, and even global levels. Our recent Skills USA competition was held last month, and our welding and automotive students secured several awards, highlighting their skills and abilities. The Laughlin Air Force Base recently awarded the Rising Eagle Award to one senior and junior student in our aircraft maintenance program. This award is given to students for their skills, their ability to demonstrate skill, responsibility, and leadership. And our current robotics team 4063 is currently in their build season, preparing for their March competition. These are only a few of the competitive opportunities available to our CTE students. CTE is dedicated to building a strong network of promoting dynamic programs that shape the next generation of leaders. Our CTE coordinator, Ms. Cynthia Sagoon, is present here and I would like to recognize her for the essential support she provides our students, our teachers, and our exceptional CTE Student Ambassador Program. Our CTE Student Ambassador Program was started 13 years ago and serves to promote CTE in our schools and our community. These students share their passion for their CTE programs at the middle school career fairs, helping younger students make educated decisions about their future. They serve on CTE advisory boards, strengthen partnerships, and highlight the impact of CTE for preparing students for high-demand careers. They engage peers, policymakers, and employers, and our CTE ambassadors play a crucial role in bridging the gap between education and workforce, helping ensure that more students can recognize the value of CTE training. I am honored and would like to recognize the 2025-2026 CTE Student Ambassadors. As I call your name, please step on stage to be recognized. Alfredo Garcia, Ambassador for Aviation Maintenance. Sofia Castillo, Ambassador for Business Marketing and Finance. Nicholas LaMountain, Ambassador for Electrical. Salvador Sanchez for Heating, Ventilation, and Air Conditioning. Jose Rocha for Welding and Manufacturing. Luis Alfredo Garza for Certified Medical Assistant. Alejandra Vasquez for Certified Nursing Assistant. Evelyn Gonzalez for Emergency Medical Technician. Elizabeth Cheney for cybersecurity. Bridget Morales, digital communications. Patricio Zuniga for engineering. Camila Lozoya, graphic design and interactive media. Diane Salazar, junior, ROTC. And Brooke Barrientos for teaching and training. Unable to be in attendance tonight was Vivian Geraldo for automotive, Benjamin Rivera for carpentry, Camila Rodriguez for law and public service. Thank you all ambassadors for all the time and commitment you have put into this role and for being the student voice for all of your programs. Thank you. And then, once again, Dr. Rios, President Mesa, members of the board, thank you all for your support and for the opportunity to recognize these amazing students and the CTE department.
I would like to thank each and every student that is going to be an ambassador or is an ambassador because they do such a great job. I received so many compliments from citizens that attend the meetings, and these students are so knowledgeable. And I'm so glad that we keep adding, like cybersecurity, which is wonderful. I think, again, the public is very, always offering us, such, they're so proud of all the ambassadors because they do such a tremendous job. Thank you again, Ms. Guanajuato and Ms. Sawun, again, for leading the CTE program. And we're very proud of all the certifications that we get because, again, these students are able to work right out of high school and be able to afford their tuition if they go on to further their education and sometimes open up their own business if, again, so many different branches of certification that they earn. So thank you again. This time we're going to open up our public hearing. Citizens have signed up for public comments. The public hearing is item 6 on the agenda, is the 2024-2025 Texas Academic Performance Report, the TAPR report. Jane Villarreal.
Good evening, Board President Mesa, Dr. Rios, members of the board. This evening, we are presenting the Texas Academic Performance Report for 24-25. Every year, we are required to have a public hearing to review the district report. And so this is our report this year. It is the final report for 24-25. And can be found at the TEA's reporting division webpage. We will be posting this shortly after this public hearing to our district website. And this does include our A through F ratings for each of our campuses and our district, along with distinction designations. On your dais, you should have received the copy of the PowerPoint, along with the last section Z item that you were pending in your USB, along with your binder. So what is in the district annual report? Section C, which is also page 19 of your USB, includes a TAPR glossary. This glossary includes any definitions, any methodologies, or list any resources for data points for the TAPR, and that would be section C in your binder or page 19 of your USB. What is also included in your district annual report? We have section F, and section F is the area we will spend most of our time in tonight. That starts on page 129 of your USB, along with sections for district accreditation status. It includes the PDF TAPR, which we are required to present, along with special education determination status, the accountability summary, which is also Section U, any progress towards meeting our House Bill 3 goals, the 24-25 actual financial report, along with campus performance objectives. What else is included in our district annual report? Sections G through T includes reports for each of our campuses. The reports included in there are your TAPR report for each campus, accountability summary. It includes the campus comparison groups, the actual financial report for each campus, and then, of course, the school report card. And last that's included in our district annual report is those sections that are remaining. We have our 2025 accountability ratings and distinctions. We have Section W, which has a report on violent or criminal incidents. Section X, which has our safe schools training and board policies. And then Section Z, like I said, that was copy-placed there for you to refer to. We were pending that report. That's the student performance in post-secondary institutions. So again, Section F starts off with our district accreditation status. There's typically 4 accreditation statuses, starting with accredited, accredited warned, accredited probation, and not accredited. And what is taken into consideration for those accreditations are those 4 items: the academic accountability ratings, your financial integrity ratings, your data, and then, of course, program compliance, which is also reported on RDA. And, of course, our district is accredited. So we'll start off with going through the PDF of our TAPR report. We'll start off with STAR data. So 3rd grade reading and 3rd grade math, you'll have on page 3 of your TAPR report. And this shows data by grade, by subject, and by performance level. So you'll see a comparison from 24 to 25 on there. You'll see us compared to the state and to the region year to year on each performance level. So this is 3rd grade reading, 3rd grade math. You'll see our levels, or our percentages, or performance in approaches, meets, and masters for each of the areas. Anything that has that is underlined shows an improvement from year to year. So again, our approaches level, our meets level, and our masters level for 25 showed an improvement from the previous year. 3rd grade math, our meets level and our master's level showed an improvement from year to year. Next up, we have section 4th grade reading and 4th grade math, again, by grade level, by subject, and by performance level. And again, anything that is underlined is an improvement from the previous year to this year. So 24 to 25, you'll see that we had improvements in 4th grade reading, in our approaches, our meets, and our masters. In 4th grade math, you'll see improvements in our meets level and our master's levels. Then we move on to 5th grade STAR. You'll see 5th grade reading, 5th grade math, and you'll see that our approaches in 2025 is highlighted in green. And that's anything highlighted in green is at or above the state. Okay, so again, our meets and our masters, 5th grade reading, we showed an improvement from year to year. 5th grade math, an improvement from year to year for our meets and masters, and we were at the state level with our approaches level for 5th grade math. 5th grade science is listed next. You'll see our approaches, our meets, and our masters. Next up, we have our 6th grade STAR, the 6th grade reading. We were at We were at the state level, so you'll see that highlighted in green at the approaches level. And then our meets and our masters improved from 24 to 25. Our sixth grade math was above the state, and all three areas or performance levels, approaches, meets, and masters, improved from 24 to 25. Seventh grade STAR, you'll see that we had improvements from year to year, from 24 to 25 in our approaches, meets, and masters in seventh grade reading. Seventh grade math, we were above the state in approaches and meets. And then, of course, it improved from year to year, 24 to 25. Eighth grade reading, you'll see an improvement from 24 to 25 in our approaches level. And then eighth grade math, you'll see an improvement in our meets and masters levels. Eighth grade science and social studies. So from 24 to 25, we had an improvement in our approaches and our meets levels. For science, eighth grade science, social studies, we had an improvement in all three performance levels. English 1, we were above the state at our approaches level. And then for English 2, we were above the state for our approaches and our meets levels. And then we did show an improvement in our master's performance level for English 2. Algebra 1 and biology are listed here next. And you'll see that we improved in our master's level. We also improved for biology in our mates and masters. And the last of our STAR EOC, U.S. history, you'll see our data from year to year. And now we'll move on to school progress, and that is on page 12 of our TAPR. There you'll see, this is our annual growth by grade and by subject. So this is showing growth, where our students perform or show growth from one year to the next. Starting with our fourth grade reading, we showed an improvement from 57% in 2024 to 69% in 2025. Fourth grade math in our annual growth, our school progress, an improvement as well. Fifth grade reading, or ELA, we were above the state for growth. And for fifth grade math, we were above the state as well. Continuing with sixth grade ELA, we showed an improvement from 24 to 25 in school progress. Sixth grade math, we were above the state, or with the state, I apologize. Seventh grade reading, and then of course we have seventh grade math. Our school progress, we showed improvement from 24 to 25. Eighth grade reading, eighth grade math are listed. English 1, we were above the state, and English 2, we were above the state in school progress as well. Algebra 1, we were with the state at 74%. And then all grades are listed there, along with all grades math, an improvement from year to year. Lots of information. We'll move on to bilingual. Here I've highlighted, of course, the first four columns, you've seen that data, that's all of our grades, the performance by performance level. However, what I've done is I've highlighted or kind of shown the difference in the bilingual. So total BE is everyone in the bilingual program, so that's K5. And those are our totals. Those are our percentages for approaches in 2025. You'll see that we made some improvements from 2024. Total ESL is all of our 6th through 8th, and that includes anyone that is in the ESL program, 6th through 12th grade. The next column shows our parental denials and their performance by performance level in STAR. The next column shows our total EBs, ELs, so that's everyone included. And the last column shows our monitored students once they exit the program, their performance in STAR. So again, you're seeing all grades combined for ELA reading. And you'll see we had some improvements for our bilingual students from year to year. Now looking at math, the same format. For math, we have all of our students compared to the region and the state in the different performance levels here on these first 4 columns. Total BE is our bilingual education, so that's all students K through 5. Total ESL, that includes all of our students 6 through 12 and their performance in STAR. And we have our parental denials in math, all of our EBs, and then our monitored, which are our students that have exited the program. You'll see the same format for science. So again, those are our we have us compared to the state, region, and district, and then of course our bilingual students are highlighted there. And last, we have social studies. So again, all grades, social studies by subject, by performance level, us compared to the state and the region, then our bilingual students, which we only test 8th and high school, EOC, U.S. history. So our total ESL, our parental denials, and then of course all of our EBs, and then those that are monitored. Last, for our bilingual section, we have the school progress. And so those are the percentages for all grades ELA. Again, as compared to region and state. Total bilingual education, which is K5. Total ESL, which is 612. Our parental denials, all of our EBs together, and then those that are monitored. And this is annual progress. This is showing progress. And then, of course, we have all grades math. Next up, we have in our PDF TAPR report, page 20, we move on to the annual dropout rate, grades 9 through 12. And you'll see that we were below the state. So we showed an improvement from previous year. Graduation rate, that's page 20 on your PDF. Then again, improvements and above the state with our graduation rates. The second row includes those students that received their certificate of high school equivalency. And then that third row includes any students that did not complete or graduate within the 4-year period. So again, our graduation rates are above the state and showed an improvement from the previous year. College, career, and military ready graduates, that's page 24 on your PDF. That shows also above the state at 91.4%, and an improvement from the previous. The next section shows our associate's degrees. Again, way above the state at 10%, with an improvement from year to year. Dual credit courses, that's page 24 on your PDF. Again, way above the state at 48.7, and an improvement from year to year. The approved industry-based certification, above the state, and an improvement from year to year at 49.0. And the last section is our graduates with level 1 or level 2 certificates. We only have level 1 certificates within our district, and we are way above the state as well, at a 7.9. And now we move on to our special education determination status. That's on page 129 of your USB. That's the first page of our PDF TAPR report. And that is also something we need to report. It must include the special education determination status, and we meet the requirements. Section F, a continuation. One of the other items that we need to report on is the progress of each campus and our district towards the House Bill 3 goals. This was reported back in at the school board meeting held in October 2025. And so it was Mrs. Sutton that had reported and shown you, she showed you the new goals that we set across the district for our campuses. And you'll see those in those following pages. Our new goals, of course, for third grade only, is to increase from a 41 to a 71 at the meets level by August 2030. And again, this was a report that was given October 2025 at that school board meeting. And then you'll see the House Bill 3 for math, third grade. Again, our target is 71% by August 2030 at the meets level. Last is our CCMR to reach 97% by August 2030. And we're currently at a 91. The next section is your actual financial reports, and those include, that's in the orange tab, page 171 on your USB. This includes the district actual financial data for 24-25. Those reports include information on revenues, expenditures, disbursements, tax rates, and fund balance. And then, of course, each campus has their own, which reports expenditures by object, by function, and program expenditures as well. San Felipe Del Rio CISD has a financial rating of an A, and that has been reported at a previous school board meeting as well. And then our campus performance objectives, those are measured through our campus improvement plans, and those are listed in our website under the federal and state programs tab. And they're also available at each campus or at the district central office for review. Section W includes reports on violent and criminal incidents. You have that behind Section W, which is page 724 of your USB. And this includes an annual report about violent or criminal incidents that occur at our at each campus. And that is available for your review. And Section Z is that last report that we included that was not available but is now available. It's They're on your dais, and again, this includes information on the most current report is 23-24 high school graduates, and it includes information regarding their grade point average once they go into and enroll into a Institute of Higher Learning, and it reports fall 24, spring 25, and summer 25. That is all we have in regards to our TAPR report. Again, this will be posted to our district website as soon as this week. And then, of course, we have paper copies available at each school and here at our central office. Any questions?
Yes. First of all, I just want to say, I want to thank administration for sending the TAPR report. It is a lot for us to digest, and I go through it with a magnifying glass because the numbers are small, but I look at everything. But I'm going to turn it over to board members first before I go on to my summary of this year's progress.
Yes,
So
sir.
we'll start with just Vicki.
Right now, as of right now, I don't have a lot of questions. I want to go back because that's such a thick TAPR report that I just want to go back and just study it again. And if I do have questions, I will call you.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yes, ma'am.
you.
Thank you.
Mr. Rupert.
We'll start with the good. The CCMR is an amazing thing. When we have the percentages that high, the big standouts, of course, are your level 1 certifications, your individuals getting dual credit hours, those that are earning associates. That speaks volumes of the programs that we have there at the high school. Particularly within CTE, and we saw the individuals earlier who are ambassadors of those programs, and to be able to have, and I should have bookmarked it, but so like dual credit in any subject, for 23, 24, we were at 48, almost 49% when the state's at a quarter or at 25, and then the associate's degrees. 10% of our kids in 23, 24 compared to the state at 3.1 and 2.8 at the region. That's all evidence of a well thought out program that's in place at the high school level, and being able to go in and have those things. And I know from being on the other side, on the college side of it with Southwest Texas College there, we have a lot of times we host other school districts that come from around the state to look at not only what we're doing on our campus, but they're also looking at the ECHS and the CTE, and I've been to other conferences where when they realize, oh, you're from Del Rio and stuff, the CTE program that we have is an envy in this side of Texas, and really in a large portion of Texas, our dual credit program. If we were going to, and I know my vice president at the college wants to do this, is she wants to take all the dual credit students that we have that are participating with dual credit with Southwest Texas College, and it would be great to put them all out on the football field and take one big picture from the stadium or from the tower, looking down on everybody, because it's 1,000-something plus students, and that's just when you go into some of these other districts, it's unheard of. So those are some really, really good points. I know at the elementary level, when we get into reading, when we get into math, those are some areas where we're making improvements, and there's always room to grow. In some of the campuses that are socioeconomically depressed, that serve those socioeconomically depressed kiddos. We know we can only do so much in the school, and then, a lot of it falls to the parents as well. So, as we approach that 2030 goal and we're moving forward, and ACE does a good job, and it's starting to fill that void. But is there also something that we can look at in the future to start going in and really trying to push more interaction with the families and the parents and the community at each of these campuses? It doesn't have to be just the socioeconomically depressed ones. It can be all of them, where we try and increase the number of reading nights or literacy nights or math nights and stuff like that. Because I'm not going to lie, my son's in the 6th grade, and some of the math stuff that he brings home, I'm like, Dad can tell you all about government and history, but some of the math stuff, that's not Dad's subject and stuff. And so I feel for those that, because it has advanced, the math stuff that it has
It's very different.
it's moved itself down in the sense of, instead of learning it at this grade, now we're going in and actually we're having to learn it at this grade. We're learning it at younger. So for parents, I know that can be a challenge. So that's just something to think about as we move forward. And yes, there's some gains and stuff in there. I'm interested next year to see kind of how this all plays out too, because when we look at the new middle school model, and Dr. Rios has mentioned this before, we've gone in, now that we have the new middle school model where we have the 3 campuses, and it's been mentioned where the kids do really good in certain subjects, and then they would hit 7th and 8th grade and we'd see this fall off. And now, because you put 1,500 7th and 8th graders together, those of us who've worked it before know that, oh man, that's a difficult group to do, especially when the hormones start really going into overdrive. So next year will be really interesting to see if, okay, now the major distractions of discipline have been kind of greatly reduced, and we'll see those increases in those areas for reading and math and the sciences, and hopefully it starts to level out. So I'm hopeful for that the model is going to prove that, yes, we were right in going in and doing this. So those are just some of my observations. I don't want to take any more time from the board, because I know, and again, thank you, because I had it on USB, and yes, if you had it as
Yes, a lot of
as a
information.
booklet, it's a big thing to go through. So thanks for putting that all together and presenting it, and I'll yield back, Mr.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rufo.
Thank you.
We'll turn it over to Mr. Alindo.
Just would definitely like to see, when I look at Section F, I'm looking at school progress through the grades, and seeing in 4th grade ELA, you see a 12% increase, 5% increase, and so forth like that. And would like to commend, the different grade levels for the increases. You see a 53 to 62%, 9% across the board, and getting closer as we get closer to that state level. And as Mr. Overfield alluded to, it will be interesting to see where 8th grade is, because in the 8th grade level, we do see where the growth goes down, 1% and 2%. And hopefully by moving the 3 middle schools and doing that. What I'm also interested in is understanding how the curriculum changed recently for elementary by going to Bluebonnet, and wanting to see the interest in that, and gathering, not saying it's perfect, but gathering what we've heard, or what I've heard, is that it's a step-by-step process in Bluebonnet, and seeing that it has worked better in some of these cases. But I mean, to see a 12% gain in 1 year from 57 to 69 in 4th grade ELA reading, and see some of these gains again, 5%, 9%, and 7th grade math, 31% to 46% before the separation of the campuses to look for progression. That is commendable. What do you attribute, though, I mean, and whether it's from Dr. Rios or Ms. Villarreal, just the eighth grade, what have you heard or understood to, just get that small drop? What do you attribute that to, or is it the curriculum, or what could it have been?
Do you want me to answer? Or-
You go first, ma'am.
So at eighth grade, you're talking about ELA?
ELA, it went down 1%, math 2%, and while it's not a huge drop in percentage, everything seemed to trend, and then it got there, and then it kind of just rolled back. And just, we know that everybody's putting their effort in it, but just to kind of get an idea, like when we're looking at this, what do you think maybe could help, or what are we looking at?
So for eighth grade and middle school ELA, I know that every year there's a different curriculum
Okay,
for ELA. And so sixth grade has one, seventh grade has another, and eighth grade has another. So that's what we're looking at, hopefully making consistent across the board. So that was maybe one item that attributed to the reading.
okay. And looking again, Algebra 1, we competed with the state at 74%. So all grades, ELA reading, is that from fourth all the way through high school, what we're looking at here at the bottom? So it went up 2% and 5% for math and ELA all the way across the district.
Right,
That's
it's all,
correct, okay.
all grades.
Okay. No, just wanted to make sure to commend that, the 12% increase is 9%, and even those small little gains there, well, I just wanted to see about that, if there's a roadblock there that could be helped with. But again, to the growth that's going on in these areas and getting the small wins like that, commendation to the staff, and so great job, and thank you, Ms. Villarreal, for all the information.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Valino. Amy?
I'm playing catch up as well, so, but I do want to say that I do like what Josh said about having the parents get involved, having those nights again and making sure that everybody's on the same page and that the students are taken care of. But if I do have any questions, Ms. Jane, I'll call you. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Ms. Webb?
Yes, sir. The parent nights, we've had parent nights in many campuses, and they're very, very successful. Parent nights having to do with reading or science, where we show the parents how they can assist at home. It's not that they don't want to, they just need to know how. But I also want to commend our campuses that are above the state and above the region. And that says a lot by the leadership on the campus and the teachers that are on those campuses. For example, Ruben Chavira, Lonnie Green, St. Lisa Hills, Bobby Barrera, 100%, fifth grade math and science. And even though these campuses are scoring at 100%, I know they never stop looking at how can we make things better. And we always know that there's needs to improve. We know we have to improve in math. We know we have to improve in science. But math and science kind of go in side by side. And the reading, you can't do math, word problems without the reading. You can't do science without the reading. So that all comes into play. However, all of our schools that receive the distinction awards, like high school, early college, Garfield, Calderon, Bobby Barrera, and all of our campuses are also compatible to other districts, like Northside ISD. I think that was mentioned earlier when we had our meeting earlier this week. So when we look at our campuses, our teachers and your department, Ms. Villarreal, and the other departments are doing everything possible to look at the increases and what we need to do to improve. So I want to commend the principals, the teachers, and your department as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Webb.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to try to go 100 miles an hour because I don't want to take too long, but I do want to say there's a lot of great things happening. I'll start with the high school going down. With high school, graduation rate, 93.5 from what I saw, and there's some 95 discrepancies there, but it's up. We just had a presentation by Cindy Salas. It's going to be 100% this year. Awesome. But I'm very impressed with the ambassadors, the job that they do the industrial certifications, the associate's degree, dual credit people that, again, higher level courses, the cybersecurity that's coming in, and, these students will be earning top money. As Mrs. Webb mentioned, the distinctions, these are campuses that have a 25% comparable academic growth. And, she mentioned, again, early college, high school. Now, some people say that you can't do it in a campus that has a lot of low socioeconomic. It can be done. It was done at Garfield. It was done at Calderon. And of course, we have Bobby Barrera that earned that distinction. But it's hard to do it in Calderon and Garfield. It's very difficult to do that. But it takes top teachers and top leaders from the campus to be able to have a 25% growth. I mentioned early college, high school. Now, I do want to say that when I look at high school, there's so many gains. And I look at individual grade levels. So I'll start with end of course exams. Everything looks great. From, again, end of course algebra, English 2, English 1. And then as we go on down, Mr. Overall mentioned 8th grade. Social studies is very low, 8th grade. Science is low, not only just 8th grade, but it's low at 5th grade as well. When you go to 8th grade math, it's low. 8th grade reading is low. 7th grade reading is low. 6th grade math is good. But then you go to 5th grade science, again, it's low. And then I saw the progress that was made in the elementary bilingual programs, lots of progress made in all the elementary, again, grades, 3rd through 5th grade. And then you go on to the secondary, which I consider 6th grade on up, and that's low. And I compare it to the region, not so much to the state. There's so many ways you can show positive and negative gains, but I compare it to the region. I do have to say that there's a lot of great things happening, because progress was made in elementary, it can be done in secondary as well. And I'm mentioning bilingual students, ESL. You call them bilingual in elementary, ESL in secondary, but it can be done. It just, the focus has to be there. So there was, that's a group that I single out every year, the bilingual. I was a bilingual teacher. It's difficult to do because so many levels in one classroom of student, first emergent bilinguals, and some of them have been here several years, and some are first year bilingual students. So it's very difficult to plan for each individual student. It's difficult to teach bilingual classes. But it was done in elementary. The progress has been done, very close to the region average. Now we need to focus on secondary and be able to do that the same there. But again, I'm appreciative of the fact that we got this big old binder before our meeting, because before, in past years, again, a reminder, I've been on the board 20 years, we would get the binder on the day of when the scores were bad. And it takes time to look through all of this. But there's a lot of great things happening. I'm so appreciative of the recognitions that we have here, because they can compete with other districts. And all it takes is great teachers and great leaders on the campus. And I'm glad we're building the capacity of these leaders, because every time that I look at the update, we are receiving grants and things to, again, build the capacity of the leaders on the campus. It's not the board, it's not the superintendent. I keep referring to Dr. Rios, not you. But it's the teachers and the leaders on the campus that make the difference. And so when I say it can be done at Garfield, it was done. It was done at Calderon. It can be done because a lot of people, when I had the privilege of going to Leadership TASB, and we visited this beautiful schools, and the scores were low. And then we visited some schools that their buildings were in very bad shape, but their scores were great. It's all about the teachers and the leaders on the campus. It's not about the facilities. So I just want to, again, thank Dr. Rios for giving us the TAPR report, because we do look at it. I do want to mention one thing at high school. The chronic absenteeism has gone up. So, you get I tell the principals, you get that report of, students that have missed 9 days one semester, 9 days following semester. There's already 18 days that's chronic absenteeism. And in high school, that has gone up. So, but overall, I do want to thank the board members for all the comments that were made, because we have to focus on instruction. That is the most important thing that we do as a board member. The instruction, so there's a lot of good things happening. We just need to continue that with the other grades that are falling behind. Science, something has to be done, Dr. Rios, in science. I don't know if it takes summer science camps or what, but it's low. It's one of the, to me, very interesting courses, because I taught science. But it's so interesting, science. Just something needs to happen to light a fire to be able to improve the scores, but they're low.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, Dr. Rios?
Yeah, I don't want to respond to every comment, Mr. Mesa, but I did want to highlight some things that are happening this year that are very promising. First, I want to thank the board members that are part of our curriculum committee and the principals that have participated, because through that curriculum committee, we did select a social studies committee, social studies curriculum that we're implementing. And that was selected by all of the teachers on the district, and we reported that. And at the last curriculum committee, there were some recommendations made for science, particularly to implement more labs for our students to experience, and we've already started the training for the teachers and started the implementation. And that should benefit a lot, and we are looking at a stable math curriculum through the 8th grade, and that should help a lot. Particularly in math. This year, from the beginning, we did implement a playbook that was developed, and it has a lot to do with the interventions, but also meeting with parents annually to share with them how their kids are doing and what they can do to help them at home. We started that this year, so each year we hope that gets better. And then we've just finished the benchmarks, and I know there was questions about the 3 middle schools. And I'm excited to share, and again, this is benchmark data, which is a release test. It's the exact same test that kids took last year. Obviously, it's a different group of kids that are taking it. But that benchmark data shows that today, even though we still have 4 weeks to testing, today the students are already scoring as well as they did last year in ELA. When I look at the approaches, meets, and masters, and I combine them, that number already shows right at where we were last year, and usually there is a 3 to 6 point gain after the benchmark. So I'm excited about that. Again, it's not a prediction, it's just a statement of where we are right now. And I think that a lot does have to do with the campuses being smaller. I think it has a lot to do with the kids being involved. There was an orchestra concert last week for the middle schools, and that program is growing. The mariachi program is going. The band program at the middle schools, we have excellent band directors there, and obviously all the kids involved in sports. So I think that the middle school is already where they were last year at the end of the year, and that is that's a huge thing, and I appreciate the board's leadership, encouraging and allowing us to break down into 3 middle schools. I don't want to put our 3 middle schools principals under stress, but the expectation is that there is a whole lot of growth, and that we are at the state level and that we're above within the next 2 or 3 years. But I'm excited about all these things going on, and We do have some work to do, but we keep working every day.
There are high expectations for middle school. Just want to, I think we're all looking forward to that. It was a big undertaking again to be able to break the big giant school into 3. So we are looking forward to that. I hope that becomes true. So again, thank you. Oh, we have to ask for public comments. Any comments from the public? We'll do it this time. This is a hearing. No public comments?
Going once,
Then
twice, gone.
done once, twice? Okay, thank you so much.
Mr. President,
Thank you for your support.
I just wanted to addendum something that I had said earlier, because I'll get in trouble at home. Yeah, I'm not good with the math and all that, but his mom is really good with the math. And she helps out, so there, it's been read into the record.
So recorded. So we'll adjourn the public hearing and go into our regular meeting. And first item we have is reports, item 8, 8A. And this will be, Dr. Rios.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chop is not available today. We don't have any construction projects going on, Mr. Mesa, so there's nothing to update the board. All we have is the work orders, but I can tell you that at the maintenance department, we're still at the mid-80s in the completion, and everything else is in the 90s. We have a lot of other presentations, so if we could just forego those 4 slides, Mr. Mesa.
Okay. Yes, that was the facilities and construction update, so we have no construction going on, so we'll go on to our next one. This is the item B under 8, San Felipe Del Rio CISD Strategic Plan Update. Sandra Hernandez.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This evening, I'm going to present to you the update for the district strategic plan. This is our 5th year of the district strategic plan, and so we're at the point where we're going to provide you with the update as to how we've been doing with the strategies and working on improving our schools. And so some of the things you're going to find that give you some answers as to, from the previous presentation, as to how we got where we've gotten and how we've seen some improvement. So we're going to make some connections here today. So what is strategic planning? So strategic planning is a process that engages stakeholders, and such as parents, students, district employees, city officials, business partners, and clergy to collaboratively shape the future of the school district. So through this process, the district and the community become partners in creating a 5-year plan. This shared sense of ownership enables districts to overcome obstacles and discover new possibilities for students. So when we think about 5 years ago, we developed a plan and started to think about how can we really excel? How can San Felipe Del Rio really excel our students with the focus on our students? And we created a vision, and our vision is that San Felipe Del Rio CISD, in partnership with our families and community, empowers every student to excel through a culture of collaboration, innovation, and achievement. And this committee put together and identified 5 important areas, 5 levers, which we will call them. And these 5 levers are aligned to the Texas Education Agency's effective district framework. And they are finance and operations, focused leadership, highly effective instruction, innovation, and integrated student support. So we're going to talk about these levers a little bit more slowly and then just kind of give you a brief overview and then let you know what we've done since in our latest update. So the goal for lever 1, which is finance and operations, is that by May 2030, the district will provide a strong plan for effective use of staff and district resources to produce a balanced budget while continuing district improvement and/or construction projects. And these are the levers. So the strategies to support the finance and operations, we'll go onto those strategies. And of course, they are maintaining balance, developing and implementing a 5 to 10-year construction plan, developing and implementing a sustainable district-wide system for the teacher incentive allotment, developing and implementing a Teach Del Rio initiative to support and empower individuals aspiring to become teachers, and then developing and implementing actionable steps towards enhanced TIA. So these are our accomplishments. So the accomplishments are that we joined the 2025 Strategic Compensation Cohort with the Texas Education Agency. 41 teachers were awarded Teacher Incentive Allotment, the TIA, in the first year of implementation. And then in the second year of implementation, an additional 51 teachers were awarded the TIA allotment. We completed the November 2025 bond election, and then we accomplished a balanced budget. So the next steps for finance and operations is to evaluate the compensation systems and plans to align the enhanced teacher incentive allotment, and to complete scorecards for TPES evaluations aligned to enhanced TIA. And the TPES is the evaluation instrument for our principals and assistant principals. For lever 2, focusing on focused leadership, the goal is that by 2030, 100% of campus and district leaders will effectively support and communicate high expectations for student learning. There are 2 strategies under focused leadership, and they are implementing a district-wide system of professional learning to develop effective instructional leaders. And the second is to implement a leadership residency model. The accomplishments are that we provided professional learning and support for assistant principal development. We've established various levels of development for current assistant principals, principal-ready, aspiring administrators through planning protocol sessions. There are 2 assistant principals who have completed the principal residency grant, and we're finalizing the definition of skills and look-fors to complete the definition of leadership in the school district. The next steps are we're going to continue to develop and support new principals. We're going to continue to support the development of current assistant principals to identify future principals, and develop current teachers aspiring to become future administrators, and develop a selection rubric for candidates for the master's program. Under lever 3, highly effective instruction, the goal is that by 2030, 100% of the district students will meet or exceed grade level standards. And we have 5 strategies. For strategy 1, to provide grade level tier 1 instruction through high quality teaching strategies that address students' needs and of all learners and foster critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, and independent learning opportunities. The second strategy is to address specific learning needs for students that have not reported regress to tier 1. And then strategy 3 is to develop and implement with fidelity the district's wide system of a strong data analysis practices. Strategy 4, create and implement a sustainable and differentiated district-wide system to develop and retain high quality, highly effective staff. Strategy 5 is to establish and implement curriculum reviews in high-need content areas performing below state averages. The accomplishments is that the district has moved to the Curriculum Management Program Cooperative, the TCMPC system. And this is where it's a cooperative between all school districts collaborating with their curriculum. Supported campuses through planning sessions, extended construction response, Bluebonnet math, implementation, early literacy program, established curriculum review committees for all core content areas, reviewed science, as mentioned earlier, adopted new social studies curriculum, implemented recommended science professional development. The other accomplishments are the established curriculum review committees for all core content areas, reviewed science and social studies curriculum to support the TEKS and tested curriculum alignment, implemented individual student prescribed interventions plans for all students at all campuses. The next steps for highly effective instruction is to increase the rigor of interventions to ensure alignment at grade level or higher. Review middle school math and elementary reading language arts curriculums to ensure alignment to the TEKS and tested curriculum. Conduct the data review of CCMR, early literacy, and kindergarten readiness to maximize STAR performance. Conduct middle school science lab consultation sessions. For Lever 4, innovation, the goal is that by 2030, the school district will offer well-established innovative programs to 100% of the students. And there are 3 strategies, and those strategies are to offer a district-wide system that fosters project-based learning. The second strategy is to offer a district-wide system that fosters practices in education with an emphasis of science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM. And the third strategy is to offer a premier dual language program that cultivates bilingual and biliteracy students. The accomplishments for the innovation program is applied and entered into the New Tech Network. We've implemented Project Lead the Way for elementary STEM and New Tech as a path towards high school. We refined the district's dual language model and aligned resources, and then realigned P-TECH at Del Rio High School. The next steps for innovation: continue teacher professional development through the New Tech Network, Project Lead the Way, and dual language. Review elementary STEM criteria with local committee and consider creating other locations based upon growth. Review guidelines for entrance and exiting for all programs to ensure students' continuation in programs. Continue to recruit students for P-TECH. Continue to support the development of the content, credentialing, and instruction quality of P-TECH teachers. And the last lever, Lever 5, is integrated student support. That by 2030, 100% of school district students will receive services to meet their social, emotional, and academic needs. There are also 5 strategies in this particular lever, and that is implementing the evidence-based initiatives in the Del Rio Cares curriculum to teach students crucial life skills such as self-awareness, emotion, relationship, building, and responsible decision-making. The second strategy, which is implementing the youth mental health first aid training. The third strategy is to create systems and action plans for instructing about changes associated with puberty, sexual health, and abstinence in the 5th through the 9th grades. The fourth strategy is implementing a set of practices and approaches to re-envision and redesign the current middle school structure by August 2025 in order to foster positive learning and experiences to support academic growth in the middle school students. And then the last strategy is to implement methods for strong multi-tiered instruction for students to help improve them overall well-being and academic performance. So the accomplishments in the integrated student support is that we've implemented monthly exit tickets as a measure for monitoring and the implementation of the Del Rio Cares curriculum. We began implementing state-required youth mental health first aid training to all campus staff to identify those risk factors and signs of common youth mental health issues. Completed counselor and nurse training on the On My Way puberty curriculum. We've also completed the implementation of the middle school redesign project. We've conducted parent and student orientation meetings at all the middle school campuses, and we've reviewed student enrollment and staffing ratios for each middle school and completed those students' transitions in this new middle school redesign program. So our next steps, beginning in this spring, parents will be able to opt in for their 5th grade student to receive a mini course on puberty. The district will continue rolling out the youth mental health first aid training to staff in the summer and in the fall for those who have not been trained yet, and then begin the process of reviewing methods and systems for monitoring multi-tiered instruction. And that sums up the strategic plan update for today. Are there any questions?
Board members? Sandra, there's so many good things. Where do I start? TIA, I think it's been a wonderful thing because teachers, again, are competing to be able to get that 5-year award, the teacher incentive allotment. But not only that, it's just the improvement in instruction, because that's how you improve scores and grades. The other thing that is coming up is, the conferences with parents, which will be 2 per year. I think that's a wonderful thing, and then dual language. But those are only like 3 out of so many things that are planned to happen. So those are wonderful things, and I think it'll make a big difference. Dr. Rios?
Mr. Mesa, members of the board, when we review the strategic development plan, the reality is that a lot of what we planned 4 or 5 years ago has already happened, and a lot of it has already been celebrated. I just want to mention to the board and the community that we have to plan to come up with a 3rd strategic plan. Our first strategic plan led to early college, high school, the expansion of CTE, that whole first wave. Okay, then this is the second wave. But because most of this is already completed, now there's always going to be updates, and we have to not treat it as a one and done, but continue to grow and nurture those programs just like we nurture CTE and all the other programs that we established with the first strategic plan. We do have to think for this coming year, not the year we're about to finish, but sometime next year, we do have to have our 3rd strategic plan to shape the district in the future. Is it going to be heavy on construction? Is it going to be bringing other innovative programs? What is it that the community wants? But this strategic plan is just about entirely completed. I know that the curriculum piece is still out there, but Jane, the grant that we just got from the LASSO 4, what's the dollar amount? The one having to do with implementing high-quality programs. The one you're leading, not the one Amy's leading.
It's $900,000.
So we got the $900,000 grant, and that's going to help us finish off the implementation of whatever curriculum we select for ELA and for middle school math. Anyway, the bottom line is this strategic plan by next year should be completely done. And I just want to mention to the board 12 months ahead of time that we need to engage in the 3rd one so that the district can continue to grow.
I'm glad those things that we mentioned, like science, for example, it's being addressed. And so it's great to see that, we have plans in place, to improve instruction and everything else in regard to facilities and so forth. Any further questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
This time, we have the consent agenda. Again, there are some minutes of some meetings. Look over those minutes if there's any corrections to be made. Again, one action will approve all items on the agenda. As always, we're appreciative of people donating. Those will be posted on social media, their donations. And as always, we are thankful for organizations and businesses and individuals that contribute to the different programs throughout the district. Are there any questions for any item on the consent agenda to be pulled or further explanation? None? If there's no questions, then I'll ask for a motion to approve. Motion made by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? The motion is approved. Go on to administration. Item 10, first item we have is implementation of SB 13 recommendations and procurement of library materials. Sandra Hernandez again. Sorry.
Good evening once again, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This evening, what I'd like to do is provide the board with an overview of Senate Bill 13, House Bill 900, which has been adopted by the board as Board Policy EFB, pertaining to the procurement of library materials. So the Texas Library book procurement, particularly for school districts, is heavily regulated by these two legislative policies. So it requires a collection development policy for printed and electronic books in accordance with TESLAC. The TESLAC is the Texas State Library Archives Commission. So it requires a public review period for donated and proposed purchases for 30 days. So in the past, we'd had our librarians and they would just create a list, a book order, and they would send it for their administrator to approve it. This time, it requires a public review. And it requires that review for all donated items as well as those proposed purchases for 30 days. It requires school boards to approve the acquisitions in an open meeting. So we would place them in the board agenda for approval. So it also, this particular policy explains that when there's this book selection, our librarians have these 4 criteria that they need to look for in order to consider placing it on the list for acquisition, for purchases. So it has to enrich and support the TEKS. It has to foster growth in factual knowledge. The books have to encourage the enjoyment of reading, and the books have to represent that ethnic, religious, and cultural groups across the state. So there's this library selection criteria that our librarians have to consider for placing books on a list for consideration for procurement. The second part of this policy talks about that they also have to consider at least 2 of the following of their 7 things, and they are either to get recommendations from students, parents, and guardians, teachers in the district community, consultation with district teachers and library staff, extensive review of library material. They also can consult with library staff from other school districts as to which books to purchase. Context of the library material, including the overall fit within their existing collection. So in other words, they really want to study what they have and what they need so that they can consider, well, I want this set of material, library material for purchase. And then they have to review their library material for those sources, those professional sources, such as journals, look at recognized professional education or content journals with book reviews, national state award recognition list, library science field experts, and highly acclaimed author and literacy expert recommendations. So they want them to really study, are these books a good fit for our schools? And then look at coverage of topics of their authors, the series, the genres, what they fill the gap that they have within their own library collection. So the idea of before they get to the point of putting a list together, they should consider at least 2 of those items that are on the list so that they can determine what their list should be for procurement, for purchasing library books, library material. The board policy also says this regarding the procurement process, that the board shall consider the list of library materials that have been donated or proposed by the administration for procurement. Each board member may propose changes before the board takes action on the list of donated or of the proposed library materials. So for example, if librarians put together a list and the board reviews the list, the board may say, I'm going to make a change from that list because I believe that maybe perhaps this particular material source or library source may not be a good fit. And so just know that the board has the option to do that even before it comes forward for adoption, for approval, excuse me. And then the last piece is that the board shall either approve or reject the library materials that have been donated or proposed for procurement. And then we have to then, once we have the list, we have to at least 30 days prior to the board's vote, accept donated library materials or approve the procurement of materials. The superintendent shall make accessible to the public that list. So we have to publicize the list. Placing it on our school district's website, campus website, so that they'll know what books the campus is asking to purchase for at least 30 days before we bring it forward for the board to approve. And that sums up board policy EFB and the process for procurement of library materials. Are there any questions? Has a big change from what we've done in the past.
Board members? Sandra, this is so different because again, so many times authors will include some harsh words, but in the normal world, you know, these students are hearing those words, and sometimes just because of 1 or 2 words that or several words, then we'll, you know, held back from placing that book in the library. It's getting to be real nitpicky. I mean, enjoyment of reading. Everybody enjoys reading. I enjoy reading about cars a little bit more than some other subjects, but it's going to be so difficult for us to, you know, look at everything that is being detailed with this policy. But we have to do it.
Yes, sir. One step also that I would like to tell you is that we are going to be training our librarians to look at the lists from TESLAC and look at lists from Scholastic, for example, Scholastic Book Fairs. And so when they look at these lists, they now have the capability of being able to pre-screen the books to see if there is any content that may not be appropriate for their grade level. And so looking up keywords that may just highlight some books that may be reviewed in advance for our schools before it even becomes part of a list.
So Sandra, like how do we, you know, there was a question, for example, on a book fair that a parent saw this book at a book fair. We're not placing that book in the library, but how do we even look into those matters?
So-
We don't know what they bring.
Can
Dr. Rios?
Can I say something to that? I want to say something to that, Mr. Mesa, because when you have book fairs and, the parent, I guess, I don't know the whole total situation, but it's the parent's responsibility to make sure they can take some time out to come to the book fair and make sure what their child is purchasing. Because I just feel like that because, we have to all be in this together. We shouldn't, cancel the scholastics because of a situation. So I just think that we all have to work together and be involved in what we're, as parents as well, is what our child is purchasing, right? So not just sending the money anymore, just maybe coming and looking through and seeing what they're purchasing, because I don't want everybody to be punished or no scholastic book fairs because of a situation where we can all be involved as parents,
Yeah, ma'am. To clarify, this particular policy is for the purchase for our school library
Right.
books.
But I also have we're gonna be looking at lists of books, right? We're gonna get these lists of books. And then also the public is also going to, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not faulting that at all, but I just feel like there's gonna be some tug of war here because and so how do we draw the line on that? Because we may say these books are appropriate, but then you have, some parents that be like, no, they're not appropriate. And we've screened them and they still don't want them involved. So how are we gonna come to some work there? Because, reading, I just don't want to punish everybody when it comes to different, like Mr. Mesa says, there were some books and stuff like that. But I'm struggling with this. I don't really, don't say a lot, but when it comes to reading and books, that's my thing. But I'm having a hard time because I don't want to struggle with the community because we have to be on one accord, but we can't punish everybody. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know, I'm gonna let you talk, Dr. Rios, and maybe calm my nerves there because I think I feel like I'm struggling here, so.
Well, before I comment, I think Ms. Becky has.
I just wanted to reflect on this. It's something big here, and I feel like we're gonna have to kind of become literary experts in this, in making decisions. And being an author myself, even though my book was not a Caldecott book, but I look and I enjoy book fairs, and I really dive into books and the authors and everything that goes with it. But this is going to be a little, I don't know, like Amy said, a little tough in the sense that we really have to look at this. And this, again, I feel like it's kind of going to take away the fun of reading for some students, and also looking at the vocabulary. Some of these books, they use very technical, very vocabulary, which I'm for it. But for some students, this is going to be, a book that most likely the parent is going to have to be very much involved and know about what book is good or not, or is appropriate for the student or not. So I'm overwhelmed with this myself. So that's all I want to say. It's that we're just going to have to work together and look at every aspect of choosing library books, along with the librarians and everybody else. Am I correct in that? So
Thank you.
that's-
Dr. Rios?
So to try to situate these a little bit, we're going to continue to have the same library budgets that we've had. So we're going to continue to buy a whole lot of new titles for our students. So books will still be available. What it does, though, it does require us to have an awareness of which books are going to be ordered. For example, I'll take Ceniza Hills, for example. On their webpage, Ceniza Hills will post the books that the librarian is recommending that we buy. Now, before the librarian selects those books, there are going to be certain filters that they have to run through for age appropriateness
Right.
for elementary. Same thing at middle school, same thing at high school. And they'll post that for 30 days to give parents a chance. The tricky issue comes when one of those 150 books that are being recommended, a parent objects to that. They had access to it, they saw it. So we're going to discuss one of the 150 books that are on that list. It is time-consuming, but it is a requirement by the 89th legislature. But overall, we're still going to have a lot of books. It just creates a long process, and then eventually, the board will vote on that list after it's been vetted. But I don't see us buying any less books. I also see all the books that we read when we were kids, when we were in school, middle school, all the S.E. Hinton books that we enjoyed, Rumblefish, Text, The Outsiders. When we get into freshmen, To Kill a Mockingbird, et cetera, those books are still going to be there. It's just the new titles that we move forward. Now, when it comes to Scholastic, we do have to be a little bit more responsible because Scholastic doesn't have any filters. But in working with them, because of that one book that they posted that was not age appropriate, we found out that Scholastic was pretty much sending us as many books as they could, and they were encompassing a grade level above elementary. For example, they were going all the way through 8th grade, when really what they should have been sending us was just elementary books. And then we should have been going through the process of allowing parents to see a list of books. So the books will still be offered through Scholastic, but the parent in advance can tell us, I don't want my child to buy this book, or I don't want my child to go to the book fair. It's a lot of work, but at the end of the day, we're still going to continue to buy the same amount of books. We may just have to exclude one out of 150 titles. And I don't want to make less of the requirement because it is going to be a huge undertaking just in having to post the books for 30 days. Because if it doesn't coincide with a board meeting, instead of buying books in August, we're going to be buying them in September. Instead of buying books in January, we're going to be buying them in February. So it is going to be a huge distraction. But once we get used to it, we'll be able to plan ahead, and then it becomes part of what we do. Now, are we upset of that one book that we're not going to be able to buy? Yeah, I guess that's debatable because we're going to make some parent happy and we're going to make one librarian upset. But overall, we're going to continue to have a lot of books in the libraries.
Okay.
It's really a lot more work for the librarian at the end of the day.
Any further questions from board members?
Thank you,
If
sir.
not, the recommendation.
It was a presentation, sir.
It says approval here for some reason.
Yeah, it says approval, Mr. President. It's just presentation, just to
Okay.
let the board how we're going to buy books in the future.
Okay. All right. Then we go on to item B, discussion possible action regarding Senate Bill 11. Sandra?
I'll take this one, Mr. Mesa. Senate Bill 11 asked Board of Trustees to take a vote on whether they want to allot specific time during the day for a prayer or reading religious text. Most of the school districts that took action prior to today have voted against a resolution that would allot time. There's a whole lot of ways to look at it, and certainly this board can make the decision that they see fit. But if we look at the history of this, in the past, we were asked to implement a moment of silence. For the last 15 years, we've had a moment of silence where students can pray or reflect if they choose. And that's been implemented with no problem at all. Then later, another legislature indicated that students could leave during lunchtime to go have church meetings or prayer meetings. And we've implemented that. It hasn't happened in a while, but I know that for a while there were some groups that were going across the street from the high school to have prayer, and that worked really well. And they can continue to do so if they like. Next, the same legislative session, the 89th legislature, passed a bill that requires us to waive the attendance of any student that goes to a religious course of study during the day. And we've already had community members visit us to indicate that they are planning, they have selected a curriculum, they are hiring a director to allow students to leave during the school day for religious classes, and we'll count them present. Now the state legislature, through the 89th legislative session, asked us to consider whether we want to allocate a specific time of the day for prayer for both students and teachers. That's a question before the board. I'm simply just sharing the history of what we've done. Want to indicate to the community that we're not against praying. All of us pray, at least that's what I've experienced. And we certainly provided time during the day to pray. Now, having a specific time, I'm not the enemy of that, but I would like to see how it takes effect in schools that do it, especially since we're already doing everything else and working with a community group to allow for them kids to leave for religious studies during the day, which will be implemented this coming year.
Yeah. I want to say a couple of things, and then I'll turn it over to board members. Students have the constitutional right to pray. We have National Day of Prayer, Meet You at the Pole. Prayer is powerful. They can do it in silence. I think when we look at this bill, it requires a consent form signed by parents, a consent form signed by employees, and then they have to waive some legal claims. And the other part is students that sign the consent form have to be in one area. The students that did not sign the consent form had to be in a faraway area away from the students that signed the consent. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, where are they going? Who's going to be supervising them? And all these other things. And then the other thing is we have there's still one item that's in the court, and that's the 10 Commandments, because it was challenged. And we don't have a ruling yet on the 10 Commandments in regard to Louisiana ruled already, but Texas has not ruled on it yet. Because when you start thinking about the different religions, there's so many religions here, even in our community here, that they don't all go by the 10 Commandments, even though they want them posted in the classrooms. Each classroom has to have the 10 Commandments. And so it's up in legal battle right now. But all of us realize how important prayer is, especially the times that we're in. But I do have some reservations in regard to, okay, where do students go? This is during an instructional day. Well, outside of the instructional day, but the ones that signed the consent form will be in the classroom. The ones that did not go somewhere else. But I'll turn it over for discussion. Anyone else? It's up to the board.
Sorry.
Mr. Overfelt?
As Dr. Rios mentioned, since 2003, that has been the standard for schools. And it's specifically, during the 1 minute period, each student may, as the student chooses, reflect, pray, meditate, engage in any other silent activity that is not likely to interfere with or distract another student. That's Texas Education Code 25.082D. So it already exists. And then you start getting into the issue of separation of church and state. So I don't see a reason to approve the resolution when you already have the constitutional right to pray or not in school, and then all those other items, and then the 1049, which we know is in effect anyway, and we're going to have, there's already a group within the community that are going to be, those students that would most likely sign up and have to sign into those waivers, they're probably going to take advantage of 1049. And so I don't see a need for the resolution to adopt.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? I know San Angelo has voted against the resolution. I keep up with schools, districts, in Region 15. San Angelo has turned it down.
Yeah, San Angelo, New Braunfels.
A lot of other schools, yes. So, anyone else?
Has to be a record vote.
Okay. Then, is there a motion from anyone?
I make a motion to not approve the resolution calling for Senate Bill 11.
Okay. Seconded by Mrs. Webb. All those in favor?
It does need
Has
to be a
record.
record.
Call everybody out.
Oh, okay. It needs to be by calling each board member. Mrs. Webb?
Against.
Against?
Against.
Against. Mr. Rangel?
Against.
Against.
No.
Against,
And I'm against as well.
against.
Okay. So the resolution has been denied. We'll go on to item C under administration. Consideration to approve the first reading of TASB localized policy update 126, part 3, affecting policies. I'll let Sandra do that. There's
Good
so many
evening
of them.
once again, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. You'll be pleased to know that this is the last of the group of policies from the last Texas legislative session, Update 126. So the district's Board Policy Review Committee met on Wednesday, February 11, 2026, to review the third group of proposed policy drafts in Update 126. So the policy changes in Update 126, of course, are almost exclusively based on the legislative session. Proposed recommendations to these policies include the following: to FA, local parent rights and responsibilities. This new local policy is recommended for inclusion in the district's manual to address Senate Bill 12's requirement to establish a parent portal on the district's website through which parents may submit comments to administrators or the board. FEF local, attendance release time. New recommended language reflects Senate Bill 1049 requirements regarding release time courses. FFAC local, wellness and health services, medical treatment. A recommended revision at medication provided by parent has been made due to Senate Bill 920, which now allows school employees, including nurses, to administer non-prescription medication in accordance with legal requirements. And at epinephrine, references to epinephrine auto-injector has been changed and updated to epinephrine delivery system. And that's in accordance with Senate Bill 1619. FFB local, student welfare crisis intervention. As required in House Bill 2, a provision is recommended for inclusion addressing the required notification that must be provided to teaching staff when a threat is made against the campus. FFF local, student welfare, student safety. House Bill 2 prompted recommended revisions to this local policy regarding notifying a parent of a student with whom an employee or service provider is alleged to have engaged in misconduct. FFG local is the student welfare, child abuse and neglect policy. There's a recommended change at reporting child abuse or neglect, and it reflects Senate Bill 571's requirement that reporting should be done within 24 hours of learning of the facts giving rise to the suspicion of abuse or neglect of a child. FNG local, student rights and responsibilities, student parent and complaints and grievances. So this revised student and parent complaint policy includes revision prompted by the applicable portions of Senate Bill 12. It includes changes to the deadlines for submitting and responding to grievances. FO local, which is the student discipline policy. There are minor edits that recommend the language regarding video and audio monitoring, that monitoring permissive, and clarify what should happen when video and audio recording equipment is in use. At GF local, which is public complaints, this revised public complaint policy includes revision prompted by the applicable portions of Senate Bill 12, and it includes changes to deadlines for submitting and responding to grievances, public grievances. And the last policy is GKA local, community relations, conduct on school premises. There's language change regarding handguns. It's recommended for revision due to Senate Bill 706. And that sums up the policies that are up for first reading this evening.
Any questions for Sandra? Want to read the recommendation, please? No questions.
Yes, sir. It is a recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the first reading of localized policy manual update 126 affecting policies FA local, parent rights and responsibilities, FEF local, attendance, release time, FFAC local, wellness, health services, medical treatment, FFB local, student welfare, crisis intervention, FFF local, student welfare, student safety, FFG local, student welfare, child abuse and neglect, FNG local, student rights and responsibilities, student parent complaints and grievances, FO local, student discipline, GF local, public complaints, and GKA local, community relations, conduct on school premises, as presented.
Heard the recommendation from administration. Is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Mrs. Webb, seconded by Mr. Galindo. All those in favor? Motion carries
Thank you,
unanimously.
sir.
Item 13, under Business and Finance, consideration to approve board resolution of San Felipe Del Rio CISD regarding school closure on January 26, 2026.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. On January 26, 2026, due to a extreme cold warning that was issued by the National Weather Service, it resulted in a decision to close the district schools for the safety of its students and its employees. At this time, we are bringing a resolution to the board to consider that would allow the district to pay its employees who were scheduled to work that day but were prevented from doing so due to the unexpected school closure.
Any questions for Amy? I think. Okay, hearing none, recommendation.
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the board resolution of San Felipe Del Rio CISD regarding school closure on January 26, 2026 as presented.
Heard the recommendation. There's a motion. Motion made by Mrs. Webb, seconded by Mr. Galindo. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 13B, consideration to approve submission of application for the FY fiscal year 2027 Criminal Justice Grant Program application for the purchase of body-worn cameras. Gilbert Sanchez.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, members of the board. For this item, administration has submitted the application for the fiscal year 2027 Criminal Justice Grant and is requesting board approval. If awarded, the grant is for purchase of 40 body-worn cameras, chargers, and cloud storage access for 5 years. The grant totals $132,119. There is no local matching funds required at this time of the application.
Gilbert, what is the lifespan of these cameras? Do you happen to know?
Can you have
Chief Paz step in. He's right outside. I texted him, but I don't think he's looking at his phone.
I just wondered. It's okay if we don't have the information right now.
Mr. Galindo knows.
Mr.
He
Galindo.
uses them.
It'll vary. You're looking maybe, estimated minimum, about 3 to 5 years, depending on if the camera's an outer type carrier camera, how much use it's gonna go through the wear and tear. We've had some, maybe that's lasted about 4 to 7 years, but it all depends, because some of them can go out a little bit quicker than others, just depending on the use, the drops and so forth like that. But you usually, have to start looking at replacement. You wanna look at that maybe every 3 to 4 years, just dependent on the amount.
I was asking about the lifespan of the cameras, body-worn cameras. But Mr. Galindo provided the information. I just wondered.
Hold on. Chief Oz, would you say you're looking at about 3 to 5 years? It's dependent on the wear and tear and the use of some of the cameras. And then you're probably going to start looking at parts and everything like that about 2 or 3 years into it.
Correct.
Okay. And this is something that is not required, but is recommended?
So depending on the agencies, most agencies are now going to require body cameras just because of the liabilities.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else with a question? Okay. No questions, recommendation? Want to read the recommendations?
It is a recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the submittal of the application for the fiscal year 2027 Criminal Justice Grant Program application for purchase of body-worn cameras in the amount of $132,119.
Heard the recommendation. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Galindo, second by Mr. Overfeld. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Item C, consideration to ratify and approve a purchase order over $25,000 to Valverde County Clerk in the amount not to exceed $50,000 for Fund Source 199 General Funds to purchase property located at 703 Waters Avenue, Del Rio, Texas. Gilbert Sanchez.
Good evening once again. The special commissioners entered the award amount of $50,000 to be paid by the school district for condemnation of the property located at 703 Waters Avenue in Del Rio, Texas. The school district issued a purchase order on February 10th, 2026, and hand-delivered a check to the Valverde County Clerk on February 13, 2026. At this time, we are asking the Board of Trustees to ratify and approve the purchase order of over $25,000 and the check in the amount of $50,000.
Questions for Mr. Sanchez? I think we've discussed this topic several times already. So, no questions, so if you want to read the recommendation.
Yes, it is a recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees ratify and approve the purchase order of $25,000 to Valverde County Clerk in the amount of $50,000 to purchase property located at 703 Waters Avenue, Del Rio, Texas.
Heard the recommendation. Their motion by Becky Chavez, seconded by Mrs. Webb. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Mr. Mesa?
Yes. Mr.
I'm
Webb?
sorry. Just for clarification, because there might be individuals out there watching or that don't know this. This little piece of property goes in and gives the school district basically the half block on the other side of Waters up to the from the corner of Garza up to the gym. And now that would allow us to, in the future, hopefully build our new tech and our second gym. So that was the reasoning behind all of that for those who may not have been aware.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank
the explanation. Okay, item 14, Human Resources. Item A, consideration to approve the conversion of a student information systems technician to a student data technician. Amy Childress.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. Yes, at this time, administration is requesting the approval of the conversion of a student information systems technician position to a student data technician position.
Questions for Amy? No. Mr. Galindo?
Mrs. Childers, looking at the job description, there's going to be some added duties, and then if we look at D, there's going to be an additional compensation. Was that an excess position that we're going to give that increase to, or how did that come about?
Mr. Mesa,
Dr.
members of
Lewis?
the board, we have two positions that we are going to be merging into one. There is no extra position. At the end of this year, we will eliminate the second position. So in essence, the current student information systems technician will do the student data technician. That'll be the job. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. No questions, recommendation?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the conversion of a student information systems technician to a student data technician.
With the recommendation from administration, I'll entertain a motion. Motion made by Mr. Galindo, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item B, consideration to approve the conversion of an excess position to federal and state programs coordinator. Amy Childers.
Good evening once again. Yes, at this time, administration is requesting the approval of the conversion of an excess position to a federal and state programs coordinator.
Any questions for Amy? Hearing none. Recommendation.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the conversion of an excess position to a federal and state programs coordinator.
Heard the recommendation. Motion made by Ms. Overfeld. Is there a second? Seconded by Becky Chavez. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item C, discussion possible action to approve employee job descriptions and evaluation forms. Amy Childers.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. This evening, administration is bringing three job descriptions and evaluation forms for your approval. The first is a new job description and evaluation for the student data technician. The second was an update for the school improvement director. And the third was a new job description for the federal and state programs coordinator.
Any questions from board members? No questions, recommendation?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the employee job descriptions and evaluation forms as discussed.
For the recommendation from administration, is there a motion for approval? Mr. Overfeld, second by Becky Chavez. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item D, consideration to approve the updated 2025-2026 district compensation plans. Amy Childers.
Good evening once again. At this time, I have some updates to our compensation plan. The first can be found on page 319 under the Administrative Professional Pay Plan. We are adding under pay grade 4 the Coordinator of Federal and State Programs that you just approved. The second item is, it's actually added to on your dais. It's under the Paraprofessional Pay Plan. If you'll look at the second page, we are removing under pay grade 6, we are removing the technician for student information systems, and we are adding the new position under pay grade 8 for the student data technician. Then the last item I have is on page 327, under the supplemental stipends. We are adding the lead librarian stipend back to the compensation plan.
Any questions for Amy? No questions, recommendation, please?
Yes, sir. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the updated 2025-2026 district compensation plans as presented.
For the recommendation from administration, Mr. Arlindo made a motion, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to go into closed session. The time is 8:09 p.m. We're going to go into closed session pursuant to policy 551.074 and 551.071. If any action needs to be taken, it will be taken upon reconvening into open session. We are now in closed session. Okay, the time is 9:02 PM. No action was taken in executive. We're down to item 18. A, consideration to approve the personnel report to include the following: new hires, district vacancies, retirements, resignations. Amy Childress.
Good evening, President Mesa, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees approve the resignations, retirements, and vacancies as discussed in closed session and the following new personnel: Jacqueline Vasquez for art teacher at Dr. Fermin Calderon Elementary, Amanda Kennedy, special education co-teacher at Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary, and Jorge Martinez, music teacher, assistant band director at San Felipe Memorial Middle School.
For the recommendation from administration, is there a motion for approval? Motion made by Mrs. Webb, seconded by Amy Haynes. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item B, discussion and possible action for salary adjustments. Amy Childress.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the salary adjustments as discussed in closed session.
For the recommendation, there's a motion from Mr. Overfeld, seconded by Becky Chavez. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item C, consideration to approve the submission of TA application for certification waivers. Amy Childress.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the submission of TEA certifications for certification waivers as discussed in closed session.
For the recommendation, there's a motion from Mr. Galindo, seconded by Mrs. Webb. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
There being no other items on the agenda, is there a motion for adjournment? Motion made by Amy Haynes, seconded by Mr. Galindo. All those in favor? Majority. Thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you and good night, everyone.